what's up? Kevlin here. I have Petunia with me. I've done a few character rankings and they seem to be doing okay, so I thought I'd make another. We'll see if this ends up being a smart move or not. Anyway, I'm going to be ranking the characters from the Blue Lion's house in Fire Emblem Three Houses. I'm not going to include any teachers, recruits, or DLC, just whoever was there on day one. So no Byleth, no Gatekeeper, or Yuri. Sorry. Also, sorry if my list doesn't match up with yours. I'm going off my playthrough experiences in Three Houses and maybe a bit of Fire Emblem Three Hopes. It is the internet, as I always say, so... This is the internet. These are just my opinions based on my experiences. Things may change, and they're not meant to offend anyone, and this is mostly made for fun. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. Starting out on this list, we have Ingrid. Ingrid is one of Dimitri's childhood friends who took up the lance and soon takes to the skies on her Pegasus. Her life has been complicated, though to be fair, a lot of the Academy students have had a rough go of it and probably need therapy. Anyways, Ingrid takes the spot because, well, she's not that good. While she can pretty much use any weapon, the stats and skills she has points to her being a good lance unit. And while it isn't fair to compare her to Dimitri or even Byleth, she isn't a great lancer. She's a consistent hitter, which is good, but she hits like bird poop on a windshield. It may surprise you, but ultimately it doesn't do anything. As for flying units, she's decent, but compared to Sedith or Claude, I don't usually take her. Ingrid's personality is, well, I just feel like she's a hypocrite in some ways. She's always nagging people for not acting like a noble or a knight or whatever, and then she steals away to eat snacks in private, and sometimes not in a very royal manner either. She's also just very rude. I don't mind blunt or mean characters to an extent, but all she does is criticize. She doesn't leave much constructive criticism or try to offer help. I just find that a bit odd since she herself has been through many trials, as I mentioned before, and it seems she never stops to think about what others go through. Petunia? Ingrid does work through a lot of it, especially progressing through support conversations, but she's actively taking her anger out on people, whether they are directly related to the problem or not. I really wanted to like her, and I gave her multiple chances on all of my playthroughs, but I always worry what will come out of her mouth every new support conversation. Though I credit that to the writers and the actress on how they delivered the character. Standing next to Ingrid here is her childhood friend, Sylvain. He also grew up with Ingrid, Dimitri, and Felix. He doesn't share as much deep trauma as his friends, but the shadows are definitely still there. Sylvain is primarily there in the ranks as a lance or axe unit and can easily take the reins as a rider as well. He's able to use crest weapons, which is very helpful since you can acquire a few of those types of weapons. I just wish he was decent. I did unfortunately lose Dedue in my first playthrough on the Blue Lions route, so Sylvain was able to step up and take that role of main axe user for a bit. It just took a long time to get him there. When I played again, I did have Dedue and Alois and a few others who could fill that role that were easier to train. So Sylvain got left at camp a lot. I'm sure Sylvain was fine with that since it gave him more time to look for a girlfriend. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm not a fan of the characters that are all lovey-dovey, needy, flirty types. I totally understand why Dimitri and Ingrid are always coming down on him like two disappointed parents. And as most kids, they do not listen to their parents. As the game progressed and support conversations happened, though, I did appreciate Sylvain more and more, especially in his personal growth. He always knew what he was doing, but as he got older, he just started filtering it a bit more. I don't know how else to say it. I just like the genuine side of him and the conversations he has, like with Mercedes. He really is a genuine friend through and through and becomes one of Dimitri's best knights, especially in Three Hopes. You can really just see the growth and the best of Sylvain in this manner. I want more of this Sylvain. Another good knight is Ash. He joined the Dimitri crew when the Academy year started and got there through the generosity of a lord in the kingdom, Lenato. Ash wants to become a knight, like in the books he reads, so he can repay Lenato and help others. He usually uses a bow, and he's okay at it. I did struggle getting him to become an accurate archer, but it was honestly his low stats that held him back. The weapons were doing most of the work, so to make up for that, and to make sure that he had the bite to match the bark, I had to give him a lot of stat-boosting items and weapons. I personally think his personality outshines his abilities, though. Ash is kind and patient. I feel like he is what Ingrid wants to be, but her trauma and her grudges won't let her. Their conversations are actually really nice, though. They get to nerd out over books. Both students want to become knights, but oddly enough, Ash leads by example. He's always willing to help others, like with cooking or just listening or whatever. He's always ready to help. He also doesn't let other people's opinions influence his own outlook on people, like, say, Dedue, and later on in the story, Leonardo himself. He still sees Leonardo as a good man, but he sticks to his promises. It hurts him in almost every route, especially in Three Hopes, but he doesn't let the bigger picture get hurt by his actions. Ash is a survivor, and always being able to save and recruit him is bittersweet. While I never really used him, it was always nice to see him back at camp. Some people don't like him because of his naivety, and I see that. I don't mind him, though. I just feel like it's more of like a pure, I forgot the word for it, like the dreamer, I guess. He's not, in the sense, say, as naive or dumb as Patrick Star from SpongeBob. Ash is a genuine and overall a good guy. He also would not destroy a holiday festival because someone did not get him a gift.
Attention everyone, there's a chubby pink starfish on the loose.
Next up is Dimitri's guard and close friend, Dedue. He joined Dimitri around the time of the war, though would later be called the Tragedy of Duscur. Dedue became close to Dimitri and eventually would train and take up the axe to defend his new friend. Dedue is an absolute beast when it comes to weapons. In the beginning, it was the weapons that were holding him back, which is the opposite for Ash. When I got him some better weapons for Dedue, he was able to do what he set out to do, which was to basically put anyone who looked at Dimitri funny 6 feet under. Dedue is as loyal as they come. What I like so much about him is that he has a reason to be loyal and can deliver on those promises. He's also just a nice guy, despite how the rest of the world may see him. He's realistic in that way, but again, doesn't let that stop him from doing the things he enjoys outside of his retainer duties. When people really get to know him, he opens up. I've seen people depict Dedue as a lion or a bear, but I think he's some kind of tortoise. They're steady, loyal, resilient, and have hard shells. I'm not sure what kind of tortoise he'd be, but I think it may be a good fit. And I also just like tortoises. Anyways, Dedue is a great unit and a wholesome character. Taking the next spot is Annette, the Blue Lion's ray of sunshine, personal music box, and overachiever. Annette's closest with Mercedes because they both went to the magic school in the kingdom, but she can swing an axe as well as set people on fire, so she's a pretty deadly unit. The funny thing is, I never really thought of her as an axe unit, mostly because she already came with a spell book and has a high affinity for magic. When I found out Gilbert and his family were mostly axe wielders, I found that wild. Again, she's not bad with an axe, so I gave her one, and when she ran out of pages in her book, she could just swing an axe out of left field and just BAM! It's crazy to think that while being so deadly, Annette is one of the nicest people in the Blue Lions, and that's saying something when you have Ash and Mercedes there. Annette is smart, bubbly, and energetic. She's a bit stubborn though, and that's always a fun combination to have when you're also kind of clumsy. I want to see her and Crom try to spar. Though, like most of the others, there's some things to unpack, and unpack they do. Some of her conversations are like unboxing videos, like with Gilbert. These eventually get organized and repacked and get better. While these things can be different for everyone, I think Annette handles her load a lot better than some of the other characters. This is coming from someone who is not a licensed therapist. I actually see one, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Anyway, Annette is always able to find a reason to look forward, and I really appreciate that, and I hope the other people do too when the walls around you are constantly burning. Mercedes is next. Mercedes actually came from the Empire, but moved with her mom to the Kingdom, where she later met Annette. Just like her friend, Mercedes is an avid magic user. She became my primary healer and magic user in every route I took. There's not much to say about her abilities. I've never had any issues with her. She's surprisingly durable for being a mage. Not as crazy durable as, say, Felix or Dedue, but she's got a better chance at surviving an axe to the face than, say, Dorothea or Lysithea. So as a healing mage, Mercedes is great, but she's also amazing off the battlefield. She's so sweet and kind, very motherly. Though she does know how to have a bit of fun. With Annette, she loves to go shopping. She also tries cooking with Ash, which is also funny. She can bake, but can't cook. All of her conversations are absolutely great. I especially love her and Yuritsa's conversations. This girl is not afraid of anything. In fact, it seems like she likes scaring others. She is apparently an excellent storyteller, but like I said before, Mercedes is a great character all around. If she was a drink, I think she would be like hot chocolate with whipped cream, mini marshmallows, and chocolate shavings on top. These last two shouldn't be a surprise, but next is Felix. He and his friends joined the academy with Dimitri. While most people would be psyched to go to school with their friends, Felix seems the opposite. It makes sense since he's had hard points in his life linked to all three of his friends in some way or another. Since Felix isn't very social, he spends most of his time studying and practicing the sword. And it actually pays off. Unlike a lot of characters who spend eternities practicing and then not having much to show for it, Felix does. He's a one-man army and can turn anyone into a charcuterie board. He's even multi-talented. He can learn magic and do ridiculous damage with that, or any weapon, honestly. Felix isn't the most social of butterflies, and that's fine. It actually leads to a lot of wild one-liners from him when he's talking to others. Felix can actually be kind of mean, but he's honest. Again, as with most characters, his conversations get deeper as the game progresses. Though in Three Hopes, I feel like Felix is at his best with his dad, Rodrigue, backing him up, and Dimitri confining and supporting in Felix. Anyway, I'm glad that Felix is an important character and just as important to the fan base as well. It's rare that I like the same characters as the mainstream does, and with that, it is 1 o'clock. Who is texting me? I'm sure you guys didn't need future sight or anything to see this coming, but the top of the Blue Lines list is the house leader and prince himself, Dimitri. I'm going to try and go over more specific reasons why I like him other than he's a one-man army and will take on the world, which he can. Oh, he's so attractive. I mean, he isn't bad looking. Dimitri is a beast of a fighter because, well, he's written to be like that. From being a royal, a crest bearer, and being a main character, of course he's going to be broken as my self-esteem. And his as well. But he really delivers on that in any game he's in. Heroes, warriors, it doesn't matter. What really intrigued me, though, was Dimitri's personality. There's a lot of cookie-cutter characters in media, and sure, we like them, but they're like the original Lay's chips. Like, I don't know. They're kind of boring with no real flaws. Say Firestar from Warrior Cats, or Alphonse and Mario from Nintendo. Yeah, there could be more, but at face value, they're just normal potato chips. Dimitri, I honestly thought was kind of boring when I first joined the Blue Lions. I actually felt a bit lied to by the trailers and Sotha's analysis of the house leaders. Apparently, Dimitri has some kind of dark side. I thought it was just going to be some sort of split personality, which was the case for Vale and Fire Emblem Engage, or it wasn't going to be as dark as that. Just more along the lines of a teen going through just a phase. But no, it was not. I was wrong, as I usually am. But I was glad to be wrong this time. Dimitri's origin, backstory, and character arc are absolutely wild, and I loved every single bit of it. Though I did think I had a point where I thought I had messed up on his route, but I couldn't Google anything because the game had just come out, so there weren't a lot of clear answers. There's so many layers to it all, and it feels so real. The game does a really good job with Dimitri. My two favorite Dimitri moments are pre-time skip when he and Byleth rescue Manuela and he sees Byleth smile. The second one is post-time skip when Byleth and Gilbert take Dimitri to see his... I'm blanking on the word, like villagers, citizens, I don't know, these people, this scene. Another thing I really like about Dimitri is while he can and will fight, he will most likely try to avoid doing so. He will try to talk to others, even those on opposing sides, and see things from a different view. He's not afraid to be vulnerable, show gratitude, admit when he's wrong, and he doesn't shy away from work of any kind. Perhaps too much so. This guy needs to learn what a bed is. I feel like I could make a whole Dimitri video, but there's probably others out there, so go watch those. So that is my Blue Lions list. I hope you guys enjoyed it despite the very predictable end. I had fun playing their route and fun making this list. As always, let me know who your favorites are, and I don't know which side she's on. Petunia and I wish you a good one. Thank you guys again for watching. I'm having fun making these videos. I just hope that you guys enjoy watching them. Otherwise, I'm just talking into the void. But yeah, if you guys have made it this far, what other top 10 or rankings or talking videos would you guys like to see? Like, mostly Fire Emblem. Like, would you guys want to see, like, top games? I don't think I've done that one yet. Um, like, or I don't know, sword users, villains, or do you guys want to see like more gameplay? Like, what do you guys want to see? Because I mean, right now, as of only having one job, I have some time to kill. I don't know. We'll see how the cards fall, but yeah, toss your suggestions out there, and I'll definitely take a look at them. Anywho, you guys have a good one, and remember that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Of information and lore no one ever asked for. Petunia, I feel you. There you go. Oh, hi. Oh, that's your tail. That is not your head. Annette's closest friend. Ugh. Annette's closest with Mercedes because they both went to the magic school. Petunia. She became my primary healer and magic user in every route I took. There's not much to say about her abilities. Bless you, Petunia.